And before we dive into today's message, I just want to ask you, how are you really? Not that, not that fine answer that we give out of habit, but how are you really doing? Like, there's just too many of us who are just walking around carrying this emotional baggage that we never really unpacked. And I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. And so today we're just going to go and talk about how to heal some of these wounds that are often hidden deep inside us. Because life definitely has a way of leaving marks on us, some good, some bad, whether it's experiences from childhood or recent challenges. These events just don't go away, and they have the power to impact us, and sometimes in ways that we really don't even recognize. And the truth is, many of our experiences are very buried, like so deep, and they stay there hidden until somebody or something triggers them. And I know what you're probably thinking. No, I'm over that. That's the past. The past is history. Time heals all. But the question I really have is, are you really okay and over it? I just want to encourage you just to pause and think about some of the experiences that you've actually had. And do you have an outlet? Is there someone in your life that you actually trust and that you could talk with and talk about some of the things that concern you that you've had to deal with? Because it's real, and a lot of us experience a lot of even childhood type of traumas that we've never dealt with. And I just remember, like, just talking with a friend of mine, Dr. Tony Rivera, who actually suffered from molestation as a youngster from 10 to 14 by a family member, and then got impregnated at such a young age. And you just think about the pain and stuff that she ended up having to go through. There's so many other people like that, but not only that kind of stuff, but you just think about like physical abuse, emotional abuse, and how those actually play out in your mind today. That's why I love Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And in this verse, God is telling us that we are never alone, even in the midst of our confusion, pain, and fear. No matter what we're carrying, He is with us, ready to give us the strength that we need, that we need. When I think about my own personal childhood, it was crazy. It was crazy, not just because of, my parents got divorced when I was young. I mean, there's so many other people who they don't even know their parents. They don't even know their father because they were just left abandoned, right? Um, but I just remember at my age, when I was, 6, experiencing my parents fight and argue. And my cousin who was living with us at the time ended up taking me out of the house to his girlfriend's house who lived in our same neighborhood. And so these are some of the things that people actually experience. And I remember that stuff vividly. I mean, I could see my parents like in a hallway right now, and then my cousin just just taking me after me confronting my dad, right? As a young kid. But because of that, and then, just going down the street to his girlfriend's house and being, just going in the living room and sitting with his girlfriend and her family. Man, I still remember that stuff. But you think about some of these people who are first responders as well, in military people who've seen traumatic experiences, or I mean, it's just so much out there. But recently, I was at this wellness conference for law enforcement. It was wellness on the front line. Um, Not just law enforcement, first responders, dispatchers, everything. But anyways, after this conference was over, I ended up just kind of walking around downtown, and I ended up meeting this man named Ramsey, who owns a small cigar shop by the beach. Real cool guy. And he started telling me a story about a Delta pilot who came into his shop one day. And now this pilot was a military veteran with, I think, 3 tours under his belt. He was actually a pilot. I can't remember if he flew helicopters or what, but he was still going through this 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 pain, remembering the traumatic experiences that he actually had while in Iraq. And he just sharing these things with Ramsey, but he was also going through a divorce. So now he has the thoughts and the things that he's seen while away in combat, but now he's also dealing with this divorce. And you talk about somebody who's going through it, right? And so like I said, this guy just sat there smoking cigar after cigar. But while Ramsey was inside, he said this guy actually called him, "Hey, Ramsey, you're going to come outside." And so Ramsey knew that he wanted to talk and just kind of sit down with him. And so they began to talk. And this guy expressed that he knew that he needed counseling. He wanted to talk with a therapist and seek outside help for the thoughts that he was having that were coming up and how to deal with those thoughts. But he was fearful that his employer would look at him as deemed as somebody who wasn't qualified to fly planes. Because you just think about somebody in that position who's responsible for transporting thousands and thousands of people to their destination. What could possibly happen if he was triggered by something that somebody said or did, or just have a flashback or something, right? He was suffering with that, but he knew that he needed help, but he didn't want to talk to his employer about it because he didn't want to be put on administrative leave. But just can you imagine feeling like you're broken, not because of anything that you did, but because of life experiences that you've had to endure? And I know we all have battles that might not be the same as his pilots, but they're real and they're heavy. And the problem is many of us don't share these struggles. And here's like just some of the dangers that go along with keeping these things inside. You just think about the emotional erosion that we can actually experience when we bottle up our emotions. They just don't disappear over time. They just don't disappear. And they have the power to erode your peace, our peace, uh, typically leads to anxiety, some form of stress, even physical health issues. Then you just think about somebody who's bottling stuff up and all of a sudden they just get to a point where they just can't tolerate no more. They just can't take it no more. And they just have like this massive explosion because all of a sudden it just starts boiling over. It's just like a volcano, right? Where it's just kind of boiling on the inside, and all of a sudden it just kind of gets to the top and it's boom. It can happen. It can happen if we don't manage it, if we don't navigate it right. But we also have to be concerned with relational breakdown. When we don't address what's going on inside, it starts to affect people around us, whether it's our friends, families, our colleagues. They could feel our distance and our pain, even if we don't speak about it. It's no different than me when people know me for smiling and just being happy, and all of a sudden I'm not smiling no more. Just got this kind of mean mug on my face and looking all looking all crazy and nonchalant, where I'm not even concerned and not smiling, not addressing people like I normally address them, right? But people see that and they were like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's going on, D Wells? And if I say, no, I'm good, uh, what do you think they're gonna say? Nah, you're not good because you're out of character right now. You're out of character. And so that's what I'm talking about. But another thing we just think about, like just the mishealing part, right? Just this the saddest part about not being able to open up. We miss an opportunity to allow God to do his healing. He has so many promises for us. All we need to just do is tap in sometimes. It could just be one scripture. It could just be one word in the Bible that actually rejuvenates us, that nourishes our soul, that give him time. It's like, okay, yeah, my life is worth it. My life is worth it because sometimes we might not think about suicide, but sometimes you might want God to take you out. That's one thing we heard from Dr. Tony, that even though she didn't have like suicidal thoughts, she wanted God to take her out. But God does not want us to carry our burdens alone. He says in Matthew 28:20, and behold, I am with you always to the end of age. And you just think about that. He's with you from the beginning, since you were actually born, to the time that you die. No matter how dark it may feel, you are never abandoned with him. His presence is constant, and he desires to walk with you through your struggle. So what do you do? How are you going to take that first step towards healing? How are you going to take that first step towards healing? Here are just a few ways that you can actually take some action today. The first one is just reflecting. Just take some time today, maybe right after this video, just to sit down and ask yourself, how am I really doing? Dig deep. Dig deeper than that surface type stuff and be honest with yourself about what you're really going on, what's really going on and how you're feeling. Write some things out. Nobody has to know what you're writing now, but it's a way for you to express what's going on in the inside. And once you write it, it's out there. It's out there. Burn it up. And if you're feeling um if you're feeling upset about your situation, you want to blame God, or you're mad at God, let him know. Let him know. Talk to him about it. I've been there before where I've just got mad at God. I was like, I don't understand what's going on with me. I don't understand what's going on with the fam. I don't understand what's going on with these other people in my life. But for whatever reason, I need your help. I need you to help me discern who's good for me, who's not, who I can depend on, who I can't. Show me a way, open up a door, do something for me, Lord. That's how you got to talk. And just put it out there. Another thing, reach out. Don't let that fear keep you silent. Find someone that you trust, that you could talk to about what's going on in your life, what's going on in your heart, whether it's a friend, a family member. Reach out to somebody. Don't let that fear keep you silent. Find someone that you could trust to talk to about what's going on in your heart, whether it's a friend, a family member, a counselor, a colleague, or somebody. You need an outlet for that pain that you've been carrying. Don't let that stuff fester and have that atomic bomb one day that's triggered by a family member at an unexpected time. That could be all bad. Uh, Another thing, and this is probably one of the most significant things, is to and probably one of the hardest things to do, and that's just to confront it. Because when we confront it, that means we're stepping into what needs to be dealt with. And the thing is, you can't wait for that perfect time because there is no perfect time. There is no perfect time. It's just the time is now. Even if it's a small step, it's one of those things that just needs to be addressed. And in order to start that healing process, it's going to take you to initiate some movement. And so seek out the therapy that you need. Uh, Join a support group because I know God has the power and is available and is waiting on you. He's just waiting on you. Like if I'm going through something, he's just waiting on you. He's just waiting on me. I'm here. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting on you to, to get in that book and read. And I'll give you some words of encouragement just to remind you that I'm here. I'm just waiting for you to communicate with me so I can tell you which direction to go. He is there. He is there. And so just remember that. Remember that. Jeremiah, that's why I love the scripture too. Jeremiah 30:17, where he talks about God restoring our health to us in our wounds, and he will heal them. Healing is possible, but it requires you to take that first courageous step. So what I want you to do, remember that you're not alone in this journey. God is with you, ready to restore and heal. He is ready to restore and heal you. If you think this message is something that you need or it's something that resonates with you, take some action today. Share this video with someone that you think that might need it, and definitely leave me a comment because I want to know how you're doing, and we can start that conversation about some real healing and finding peace. Until the next time, listen, y'all take care of your heart, your mind, and your soul because the enemy is after it, and the enemy wants you to feel rejected and neglected and like you're isolated and alone, and God does not care. And that's the complete opposite. That contradicts who God is. I just want to thank you all for watching this video. I hope it helped. And if you did find it helpful, let me know. Subscribe and hit that notification button. But another thing, take advantage of Optimism Friday and my Transformational Tuesday newsletter, where I'm also just sharing nuggets of information that could actually help you on your journey. Y'all take care. God bless. I love y'all. D Wells, why not you?